Hi, Hugh Patterson here, and I'm going to show you how I am using a custom field in Endnote to manage the ISO 639-3 metadata for telling me what language a particular reference is about. And so I have about 6,300 items, and of course not all of them are marked because I don't have that kind of time. But when I do, and it's critical to the writing project that I work on, I take, you can see in this left-hand column, I take the ISO 639-3 code, and so YOU is for Yoruba. And so let me just show you, when you open up a EndNote record for an item, I don't have a PDF for this one, but you get a name, and you get your title and your publisher. And so I created a subject language, and then that's where I put my ISO 639-3 code. And what does that let me do? That lets me sort through all my resources, so I can go up here and type in Yoruba, and then so I can find all resources that have Yoruba either somewhere in the name, the language name, right? Somewhere in this case, I think it's in the abstract probably, but and so I know that this particular ethnopharmacology study was in Yoruba land, or dealing with speakers of Yoruba. So it's not particularly linguistic, but it is kind of an ethnography. Another way I can search then is I can use this code YOR, and if it doesn't have Yoruba in the title or in the abstract or anywhere, but I know that it's about Yoruba, then it'll show up if I've marked it that way, obviously. And so I do that, and it's really helpful if I'm dealing with minority languages that are very small or have a limited number of publications about them, kind of thing. And it's also very helpful if I'm reading, which I do, about orthography design and the process of reading. And in psychology, those things are tested. There's a large literature about those things. But often what I wanted to know is, okay, what about the reading of Spanish? And that's not always explicitly stated in the abstract because it's in a psychology journal and they're making argumentations about the reading process, and it just happens to be a secondary fact that it was in Spanish from the perspective of the paper. So I find that marking it, that maybe that particular paper was about the reading process in Spanish, to be very helpful if I want to compare across languages that was not necessarily in the design of the article. So that's how I do that. Now, how did I set all that up? So I went to EndNote. I'm running EndNote X6, and in preferences, what I did is I display fields. So that will control these things across the top. And so I made custom field 7 subject language. And then what that does is that changes the title up here. Otherwise, it would just say custom 7 up there. But then when I go into these records, it also changes it down here. So then in the record view, there's also another place that reference types. You can modify reference types. And then in custom field 7 right here, you say subject language, and that modifies this part right here, but then it also will always show in the record. So there is a way so that you only, there it is, that button, the minus button. So it only shows like certain fields that are full, that have content in them. And so it'll show that in that. You can see there's other fields here. Sometimes materials have the same name, and that's a problem when exporting to Xling paper. So I made a particular field, Xling paper ID. And that's a unique identifier, and I only use it if I need it. In this case, it's still a unique paper, so I haven't needed it yet. Anyway, that's what I'm doing with ISO codes in EndNote. It's the only citation manager that I've found that enables me to sort and organize based on ISO codes because it allows me to do it on a custom field. Thanks for watching.